Of all the stories that have been told about Christmas over the centuries, there are few that have left such a lasting impact as A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, the classic story of a miserly old man visited by three spirits on Christmas Eve who show him visions of his past, present and future, and ultimately inspire him to change his ways and embrace a new life of charity and generosity. The story's been adapted and retold dozens if not hundreds of times over the years, some more faithfully than others, but what if I told you that my favourite version of all time is the one featuring animatronic puppets and jaunty musical numbers? I'm talking, of course, about the Muppets Christmas Carol, the 1992 children's movie starring Michael Caine and all of the usual Muppet characters ported into various roles in the story. On the surface, it seems like an absolute farce of a movie, just another forgettable entry in a Muppets franchise that was already getting tired and played out even back then, starring a dramatic actor who seemed completely unsuited to a film like this, and retelling a story that had already been milked for everything it was worth. And yet, somehow, A Muppet's Christmas Carol became one of those films that transcended every limitation and crossed over that magical threshold to become an unforgettable Christmas classic. I mean, I can give you a plot summary if you like, but if you don't know the story by this point, I'd have to seriously question what the hell you've been doing with your life. But okay, just for you, I'll do it. So the movie stars Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge, a 19th century moneylender based in the foggy streets of London town. He's your stereotypical skinflint who hates spending money on anything, treats everyone around him like dirt, and runs his business like a slave driver.
How would the bookkeepers like to be suddenly
unemployed?
This is my island in the sun.
So needless to say, he doesn't exactly make merry at Christmas time. But that all changes one Christmas Eve when he retires to his home, only to be confronted by the ghosts of the Marley brothers, his former business partners who died years earlier. The Marleys warn Scrooge that if he carries on with his evil ways, he'll be condemned to eternal suffering in the afterlife, and that three spirits are going to visit him that night to give him a chance to save himself. Scrooge doesn't exactly take them seriously at the time, but sure enough the spirits begin to arrive, each one showing him different visions of his life from different time periods. One shows him memories of his unhappy childhood and the wasted love of his youth. Another shows him how the various people in his life mock and curse his name in the present, while the final ghost shows him the dark and ominous future that lies ahead if he doesn't change his ways. And well, the experience leaves Scrooge a very different man by the end. I've talked many times on my channel about the importance of taking your audience on a satisfying emotional journey in the course of the story, and as weird as this sounds, I think A Muppet's Christmas Carol is a perfect example of how to execute this idea. It is, of course, a children's movie, so there's plenty of little jokes and recurring gags like you'd expect from the Muppets, and some of them are genuinely funny.
Even though he is odious, stingy, wicked, and unfeeling, and badly dressed.
Even the musical numbers are pretty catchy and enjoyable, but deep down it actually stays pretty true to the source material and ends up going to some really dark places as a result. Whether it's young Scrooge losing the love of his life to his own selfishness and ambition, or seeing the results of his wicked ways played out in everyone's hatred and contempt for him, or just an empty chair sitting by a fireplace. The movie doesn't shy away from the harder hitting aspects of A Christmas Carol, and that's definitely to its credit. And all of this is made possible because of one man, Michael Caine. Honestly, I can't emphasize enough how much this man carries the entire film on his shoulders, delivering a performance that would have been worthy of the most straight-laced and dramatic interpretations of the story.
Oh, please, Spirit, no. Hear me, I'm not the man I was. Why would you show me this if I was past all hope?
In fact, he even said himself that his whole intention was to play Scrooge as seriously as possible. I'm going to play this movie like I'm working with the Royal Shakespeare Company. I will never wink, I'll never do anything Muppety. I'm going to play Scrooge as if this is an utterly dramatic role and there are no puppets around me. It might have seemed like a strange choice at the time, but goddamn, it works perfectly. You never get the sense that he's phoning it in or embarrassed to be there or lost amongst all the puppetry and special effects. He's really going for it, and it gives the dramatic scenes the gravitas and significance that they really need to hit home. The whole film clocks in at just 86 minutes, but damn, it never feels rushed or jarring. Scenes are brisk and efficient, giving you a flavour of the original story without getting too bogged down in the minutiae, and they never linger too long in a certain certain time or place. There is an extended cut out there with an extra song added in around the midpoint, but honestly, I think this is one of those rare examples where the theatrical cut is the superior one. All of these different elements working together seamlessly, the brisk and efficient script, the compelling performance from Caine, the humour and levity sprinkled in at just the right moments, and the poignant and serious scenes to counterbalance it, all adds up to a movie that just seems to get everything right. Like, if any one of these elements wasn't properly integrated or didn't work just right, then the whole thing would tumble like a house of cards. But Muppet's Christmas Carol always manages to stay perfectly balanced. It tells a classic, timeless story with energy, humour and passion. It brings the audience on an emotional rollercoaster with tragic lows and cathartic highs, and hammers home its core message about the importance of compassion, charity and generosity without ever feeling forced or preachy. In short, it's a fucking great Christmas movie that leaves you feeling better about the world and everyone in it, and it's one that I'm happy to rewatch every year and never get bored of. And if you need some Christmas cheer spread your way this year, then well, The Drinker highly recommends it. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.